Hello, humans, peoples, and others, and welcome back to my inn. Today we will be talking about, magic in my world, K-tier. So I guess, that whole, yeah. I'll be drawing a lot of circles on the map, because I don't want to do all the animation or anything to show magic. I might put up some pictures of spells I drew a long time ago, but yeah. Beyond that, I suppose, onwards into the video. And welcome to the drawable map, because I can actually draw on this one. To start with, we should explain what magic is in my world. And with that, we need to explain that there is no real, science in my world, in quotes. Because it's like in the real world, we didn't have science called science until the 16th-ish century, or no, 17th century, about. We called it natural philosophy. To them, it was just another way of thinking. Here, there's a difference between, in K-tier, there's a difference between natural forces, which is going to be like physics and stuff, and then magic, which is pretty much everything else. Technology is considered magic, in a way. Kinda. It's weird. Technology is a mix between natural forces and magic. But pretty much most of what they would consider science is magic, mostly because magic is in everything. Unless we're going about magic dead zones, which I'll talk about later. But to continue with, I guess, you have magic everywhere, obviously. It acts like a radiation, so it goes through literally anything. It can go through anything, unless it's specifically designed to be, anti-magic. There are magic dead zones where there is no magic at all, and magic can get in, but it's dulled. It's weaker in the magic dead zones. There are also magic amplification zones where it's much stronger, because it's just a huge pocket of raw magic. And raw magic can take the form of a liquid, almost a plasma. It's gaseous, almost. It flows to the ground like a mist, but you can't grab it because it's almost a liquid. It will also almost a gas. It's going to be a weird substance to try to contain. So a mist is definitely the best way to put it because it's heavier than the air, but it will pool like water. So yeah, magic. Oh yeah, various magic dead zones would be like here, 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 and here. Those are about where a ton of the first sets of humans would have also settled, because magic dead zones are just where you go to live in a magic world, because you're going to be slaughtered by magical creatures if you are not prepared. But then we have a difference between magics as well. We have planar magic, which is going to be what the Ascendants use, and then we have regular magic, which is pretty much what I'm talking about here. Planar magic we'll talk about later in the video. But yeah, so regular magic, to wield it, you have to have a special organ, or one of your other organs have to be mutated. You can have the organ goes near the stomach. It's there because it's you can absorb mana through food, but the organ also produces mana. It produces and helps absorb mana. It's also a bridge between your soul and physical body to help cast spells with your willpower, which, yeah. So I guess we'll talk about how spellcasting goes then. So you'll start with the fact that it takes willpower. That's why the Witch Queen can just vaporize people with weak enough will, because they can't stop her mana. So literally it's just you reach out with your mind almost, or you think about what you want it to do, and then if you can exert your will over the mana, it works. Most people won't be able to just do anything, and if someone overexerts their mana, it might use their regular energy. So it might, someone who is kind of has some fat on them, they might all of a sudden lose all that fat because they've just consumed all their energy, and they might go unconscious. I was thinking of the idea of, what if someone were to try to cast the equivalent of 2 meteor swarms in D&D, that's a ton of mana usage. Almost immediately, they might literally just lose all their flesh and die. Spell would still succeed though. But then you also have the fact that you have. So if someone doesn't have the organ, actually, I'm just realizing this whole video is an info dump. But if you don't have the magic organ, you could probably maybe still cast magic, because some of your other organs could mutate. Like maybe someone's heart mutated to act as the mana production / storage, or just mana absorb. Or no, you can't really absorb mana at that point, but you can produce it, and so maybe like they could be a wild mage. So when they get a ton of adrenaline and their heart's pumping fast, boom, a burst of magic. And with that burst of magic, who knows what could happen? It's random. Someone's skin might be replaced, or might emit the magic. It might produce an force the magic out of it because it's radiation almost. So if they're like a blacksmith, they might sit there and be working with metal, and whatever they make with it might just get automatically enchanted by their random magic. So kind of an interesting idea there. And then we get to, then we have to go to planar magic, which is different. It's way more powerful. It takes a lot less of planar mana than regular mana to cast a spell. And the Ascendants know that. That's why the Ascendants are way more powerful, because they also have an unlimited source of it. Though their body can only handle so much at a time. That doesn't matter. What matters is that if they were to try to cast like a meteor swarm, they could just do that. Their mana might automatically go and take the form that it needs to cast the spell, if it's an Ascendant that can innately cast that. Or let's use the Ascendant of Fire, for example. They could just their planar energy is enough that they could just form it into whatever they need it to form into and cast whatever spells using it they need to. That is again why Ascendants can be so powerful. That and their inherent immortality. This also does mean though, they're pretty their items get automatically enchanted pretty much. If they're magical, if it was alive, like if it's made of hide or dragon scales, it's going to infuse in the dragon scales and empower it. That's and sometimes with armor and stuff similar to Then we have the potential of them fighting. That huge exertion of mana might leave a place bent to the will of the plane. So again, let's use Fire Ascendant. The area might turn into a burnt wasteland that is beginning to summon fire elementals and stuff naturally, because it is now using the mana of the planar energy. And then they also emit enough of this planar energy that people who hang out around the Ascendants long enough do gain extra power. Like, we'll use the Blade of Freedom, Elistara, for this. Her adventuring party ended up gaining some of her abilities, like the ability to hit the air and cause shockwaves. And then I suppose we should also talk about how people without mana production cast spells. And then we'll go over the soul stuff. So, if someone can't cast mana, or cast spells using their own mana, they could use like a grimoire that stores their mana. Or they could use a wand they have to have both a grimoire and a focus, but the grimoire is a storage for their mana, and if it's alive, it produces its own mana, or they can refuel it using other magical items. We'll go over that as well, probably after the soul stuff. But pretty much, grimoire acts as spell storage, and they need it. They have to, in order to focus the mana with their focus, that's why they have to do incantations and somatic components and verbal components and all that. So and then I guess now I can talk about the soul stuff. So as the organ acts as a bridge between the soul and the body, someone could theoretically poke holes in their soul to increase their mana storage. Wouldn't increase their production though, but it could increase how much mana their body can contain, because technically it's their soul containing it, and they've made more space in their soul. And so yeah, but now you might be wondering, what do you do if you run out of mana, or if you're low on mana and you need a quick amount of it? There will be mana potions. So there are like plants and stuff that can produce mana naturally, because everything has magic, or you could just eat the magic organ of another creature, because that's gonna have magic in it. But if you use the plant, you could harvest like its seeds or certain pods on some of them, and you could just eat it raw, but that's not going to be good for your health. Or if you distill it into a potion, you can form it into a nice mana potion or a mana regen potion, both of which are fine. They work. And then there's also going to be magic coffee, which pretty much puts your mana organ into override and doubles production for however long it lasts. I should make a whole video on what potions can do. But yeah, beside that, I suppose we should also talk about what animals can do with magic, because almost every animal also has magic. Most of the time it's going to be instinct for them to use, kind of like for a ton of people it would also be instinct for like very basic spells, like produces like a candle flame. But animals can also do that. You might have like a rabbit who can help bend the earth using its magic to push them forward a little bit while they jump. Or you might have a lizard which can glide without the help of wings, because it can use the wind to help it glide. Because yeah, that's how that works. And then you have this area. That area will get its own video when I talk about dragons, but for now, all you really need to know is it formed because of a mix of dragons and wizards. They just kind of blasted a ton of magic there, and mountains formed. Or they forced mountains to form, I have not decided yet. But, yeah. And then I just remembered another thing with the Ascendants. If an Ascendant were to have, like, children or something, they would not be able to have any... the children could not cast natural mana, they could only cast planar magic, and use planar energy, but they would produce the planar energy on their own. And then, yeah. Also because of the naturally magical essence of the Ascendant's corpse, if someone were to use it and forge like a weapon or something, really powerful magical item, that's going to have happened with a really important person who lived here, who is very dead, and will remain that way. But yeah, I suppose that shall be all I have for magic, so yeah, I guess on to the outro. And thus, we've made it to the end of the video. So, like, comment, probably pretty much comment, spell ideas if you want, or what you want to see for other installments of my world and stuff. And then, subscribe if you want. I don't know if I already said that. Sorry if this video seemed like it was just a little bit of ADHD, info dumping chaos, because that's exactly what it was. But you know what? Yeah, hope you enjoyed, and bye! Oh yeah, wait, you should come and watch me on Twitch or on YouTube. I stream on both now. And you should join my Discord server, cause yeah. Yeah, but, bye!